The storm raged as Ilara said, "I should never have opened it." Her trembling hands clutched the ancient spellbook, its blackened leather glowing faintly in the torchlight. Her breath hitched as she watched the last fragments of her safe world burn away. The chamber walls groaned as runes flared to life, spilling violet fire across the stone. A surge of energy forced her back, and she screamed, "Why does my heart betray me?" Tears cut rivers down her cheeks as shadows twisted into monstrous shapes. Dorian said, "You've crossed a threshold you cannot retreat from." His voice carried both warning and devotion, his tall frame blocking falling debris as he reached for her. Ilara's chest clenched, torn between desire and dread. Ash streaked across his sharp jawline as his cloak billowed, his obsidian eyes locking with hers. She whispered, "I wanted only to protect us." Yet the book's pages turned of their own accord, revealing lines of forbidden desire written in blood-red ink. Suddenly a jagged portal ripped open, shrieking with power. Within it stood Lord Kale, smirking cruelly, eyes glittering with malice. He said, "You think you control it, but it has already chosen your heart." The room shook with his laughter. The book's power coiled around Ilara's chest like chains, forcing her to her knees. Dorian's hand gripped her shoulder, grounding her, yet the pull of Kale's words sank deeper. Love and destruction felt bound together. Kale stepped forward, his silver armor catching lightning's glow. He sneered, "Every desire costs blood. Whose will it be, Ilara?" Her sobs echoed through the chamber as she tried to hold the spell back. Through the chaos, a single spark of hope flickered. Ilara said, "My love is my shield." The words ignited a radiant aura around her, resisting the pull, though cracks splintered across the stone floor. The chamber collapsed around them, dust filling the air. Dorian pulled her close, whispering, "Do not let him take your heart." Their lips nearly brushed, trembling with an unspoken vow as rubble fell. Kale's laughter dissolved into the storm, leaving behind ruin, shattered stone, and the haunting glow of the spellbook lying open at Ilara's feet. The dawn broke harshly over the ruined chamber, dust settling in golden shafts of light. Ilara said, "Everything is broken because of me." Her voice cracked as her trembling fingers reached for the book again, despite her fear. Dorian's hand stopped hers. He said, "The book feeds on longing. You cannot let it decide for you." His jaw was tight, though his eyes softened when they met hers. He carried scars deeper than the ones carved on his skin. Ilara whispered, "But it speaks truths I cannot deny." The words felt heavy, dripping with the ache of forbidden desire. She saw her reflection in the crimson letters, a woman torn between love and ruin. From the shadows, Mentor Alaric said, "Desire is the oldest trap." His weathered voice echoed, his figure cloaked, staff steady. He stepped closer, his tired gaze carrying centuries of regret. Dorian tightened his grip on Ilara's wrist, yet she trembled against his touch. "If I close it, will I lose everything?" she asked. Her question was not about power. It was about love, fragile and unyielding. Ilara brushed dust from her dress, rising slowly. She said, "I don't even know who I am anymore." Her voice was soft, trembling against the roar of silence. The air still carried the scent of burned stone. Dorian stepped closer, cloak brushing the rubble. "You are more than the book's whisper," he said, his tone steady but low, as if afraid to push her further into despair. His obsidian eyes held hers. Alaric's staff tapped against the floor as he muttered, "Power reveals the cracks in the heart. Will you let them break you or forge you?" His words felt like judgment and guidance all at once. Ilara's hand hovered near the spellbook again. "It promises to protect what I love most," she whispered, her lips trembling. Dorian's jaw clenched at her words, and he said, "Even if it destroys me?" The silence cut deep. Ilara staggered toward the broken arch, the world outside painted with gray clouds. She said, "If love is my weakness, then what is left of me?" Her voice cracked like fractured glass. Dorian caught her arm gently. "Love is your strength, Ilara," he said, though fear lingered beneath his words. His eyes betrayed the weight of secrets he carried. Alaric sighed, leaning heavily on his staff. "Strength and weakness are mirrors of the same truth," he said. His voice was weary, scarred by choices long past. Alara's gaze drifted across the horizon. In the distance, Kale's army stirred, banners sharp against the rising storm. Her breath faltered as she whispered, "He waits for me." The spellbook pulsed faintly at their backs, heartbeat of temptation. Alara turned, whispering, "I feel it calling me, even now." Her words were drenched in fear and longing. Dorian moved closer, his presence grounding yet heavy. "Then we chain it, bury it, burn it, anything but let it own you," he said. His voice thundered with desperation. Alaric shook his head. "The book cannot be destroyed," he said gravely. His silver eyes caught the faint glow of the letters. "It can only be surrendered willingly, or wielded at a terrible cost." Alara's lips quivered. "Then, love is my only shield." Her emerald eyes shimmered with tears as the storm outside roared louder, echoing her heart. The ruins echoed with silence as dawn stretched into gray morning. Alara said, "It won't stop calling to me." Her hand hovered near the spellbook's jagged glow, every heartbeat urging her closer. Dorian's cloak brushed against her arm as he pulled her back. "The more you reach for it, the deeper its claws sink," he said. His obsidian eyes searched hers, a storm brewing beneath his calm. Alaric leaned heavily on his staff, his voice rough. "Desire wrapped in magic is a chain. Break it now, or it will bind you forever." He did not hide the fear in his words. Alara whispered, "It shows me futures where we are free, where love isn't broken by war." She trembled as the images of forbidden happiness clawed at her. Dorian's jaw tightened. "It is lying to you," he said, though doubt flickered across his face. She saw it, felt it, and her chest tightened. His silence spoke more than his words. Alaric turned away. "Truth and lies are twins in magic. The heart decides which to believe," he said. His steps echoed on the ruined stone as he left them with their choices. Alara reached for Dorian's hand, whispering, "If the book destroys me, promise me you won't let love die with me." His hand closed tightly over hers. Alara followed Dorian into the courtyard, where broken statues of long-forgotten heroes leaned into shadow. She said, "The book doesn't just speak, it breathes with my thoughts." Her voice cracked with fear. Dorian touched the hilt of his sword, glancing at the horizon where Kale's banners stirred. "Then it already knows how to use you," he said. His shoulders were rigid with tension. Alara whispered, "What if its voice is mine?" The question made her stomach knot. She pressed a hand to her chest as if to cage the truth inside her heart. From the shadows, a young voice rang out. It was Lyora, the sidekick. She said, "Talking to books is never healthy." She stepped forward, grinning nervously, hiding her fear with humor. Dorian scowled. "This isn't a jest, Lyora." Yet his voice softened at her familiar wit, a brief reprieve in the storm pressing around them. Lyora shrugged. "If we're all doomed, might as well laugh before the end." Her charm could not hide the tremor in her hands. Alara smiled faintly, grateful for the fragile light. The sky darkened as Kale's presence stirred in the distance. Alara shivered, whispering, "He's always there, like a shadow I can't escape." Her emerald eyes glistened with unshed tears. Dorian said, "He wants your heart, not your power." His voice was tight, his hand clenched around his sword. He stepped closer, eyes fierce yet pained. Alara said, "You fear I'll give it willingly." Her words struck him harder than any blade, and silence thickened between them. Alaric emerged, his staff glowing faintly. "Every heart carries both loyalty and betrayal," he said. His voice was weary but firm, echoing through the courtyard. Lyora interrupted, "And sometimes love feels like both." She laughed awkwardly, though her eyes darted to Alara's trembling hands. Dorian finally spoke, his voice low. "If I lose you, Alara, Nothing else matters. His confession cut raw, trembling in the cold air. That night, under a fractured moon, Ilara sat alone in the courtyard, the spellbook glowing faintly beside her. She whispered, "Show me truth." The pages fluttered, revealing visions of love entwined with ruin. Her breath caught as the image of Dorian appeared, broken, bleeding, yet holding her hand even in death. She said, "No, I can't let it end like this." Her heart pounded painfully. Dorian stepped from the shadows. "You still listen to it?" His voice was ragged, his eyes full of sorrow. Ilara turned, tears streaking her cheeks. "It shows me losing you." Her voice cracked as she pressed the vision against her chest. He said, "I would rather die protecting you than live as your prisoner." His hand brushed her face, tender yet trembling. She leaned into his touch, whispering, "Then promise me you'll never let go." His lips hovered close, their breath mingling, but the spellbook's glow flared violently, interrupting the moment. The spellbook's glow pulsed like a heartbeat as Alaric entered, his voice sharp. "You test fire with every touch." His eyes bore into Ilara with weary fury. Ilara said, "It shows me only pain without it. With it, at least, I have hope." Her words were trembling confessions of a heart torn open. Dorian growled, "Hope built on lies is despair in disguise." His hand moved toward his sword, as if the book were a foe he could cut down. Lyora stepped between them. "If you're going to fight, maybe aim at Kale instead of each other," she said, nervous humor cracking the tension. Alaric slammed his staff down, sparks of magic rippling. "This book is a mirror of desire. Choose carefully, Ilara, or it will consume not just you, but all of us." Ilara clutched the book, whispering, "Then I must choose love, even if it breaks me." Her words silenced the courtyard, each heart trembling in fear of what her vow might bring. The night pressed heavy over the broken courtyard, clouds churning as if the sky itself carried secrets. Ilara whispered, "He lingers in every shadow." Her emerald eyes scanned the darkness where her fears lived. Dorian stood near, hand firm on his sword hilt. "Kale's reach is long, but so is my blade," he said, though his jaw clenched with doubt. His eyes betrayed the storm inside him. Lyora leaned against a shattered pillar. "Storms don't end by swinging swords," she muttered, masking fear with wit, though her trembling hands betrayed her. Alaric raised his staff, runes glimmering faintly. "The storm reveals more than it hides," he said, his silver beard catching moonlight. His gaze lingered on Ilara, as though he feared her more than Kale. Ilara gasped as the air thickened, heavy with an old ache. From the darkness, footsteps echoed, a figure once familiar. She whispered, "No, it cannot be." The figure stepped into torchlight, revealing a face once carved in Ilara's memory. It was Eric, the fallen hero, eyes haunted. Ilara whispered, "I thought you were gone." Her heart raced with grief and longing. Eric's lips curled into a bitter smile. "Gone, yes, but not forgotten." His voice carried regret, laced with venom. His armor was tarnished, his once noble stance shadowed by darkness. Dorian snarled, "You chose his side." His words cut sharp as his blade, fury sparking in his obsidian gaze. Eric's eyes flickered with pain. "I chose survival," he said, fists clenched as though his own skin betrayed him. "Love never saved me." Ilara's tears burned. "You were my hope once." Her words cracked, trembling in the air between them, heavy with loss. Alaric's voice rang deep. "He is no longer yours, Ilara. Shadows claim what light abandons." His staff glowed with warning. Eric's hand brushed his chest, where scars cut deep. "I loved you, Ilara," he said, voice breaking. But love wasn't enough. His gray eyes shimmered with torment. Ilara stepped forward, trembling. "Then why stand with Kale?" she asked. Her voice cracked like fragile glass. Eric's face twisted with sorrow. "Because Kale promised me freedom," he said. "From the chains of love, from the weight of failure." Dorian growled, Freedom in chains is still slavery. His words struck like steel, his stance protective. Lyora muttered, and I thought my exes were complicated. Her humor failed to mask her fear. Alaric's voice boomed. The heart that betrays itself cannot be healed by lies. His staff sparked with power, warning Eric. Eric stepped closer, shadows twisting around him. Kale, said the spellbook, chose you, Elara. But it could have chosen me, he said, bitterness dripping from his words. Elara gasped. You would use it? Her heart pounded as fear and sorrow clashed in her chest. Eric's gray eyes flickered with conflict. I would wield it to end this war, he said. But it would cost love, and perhaps that is a price I've already paid. Dorian's blade shimmered in torchlight. Stay away from her, he said, voice low and lethal. Alaric warned, desire blinds you, Eric. Do not mistake power for redemption. His staff flared brighter. Lyora whispered, this is about to end badly, her smirk weak but trembling. Eric's face softened briefly, sorrow cracking his mask. I never stopped loving you, he said. His voice trembled, yet the darkness clung to him. Elara's tears streamed. Then why betray me? She whispered, her heart breaking under the weight of memory. Eric's lips quivered. Because love made me weak, he said. His words cut deeper than any blade. Dorian roared, stepping forward, sword raised. Weakness is leaving her to bleed alone. His fury shook the night air. Alaric thrust his staff forward, separating them with a wall of light. This ends before blood is spilled, he declared, his voice thunderous. Lyora exhaled shakily. And here I thought dinner with my family was tense, she muttered, eyes wide. The night wind howled through the ruins as Elara stood at the heart of the courtyard, the spellbook glowing faintly at her feet. She whispered, It wants me to see. Her emerald eyes flickered with dread and desire. Dorian stepped closer, his dark cloak trailing in the dust. Then close your eyes, he said firmly, obsidian gaze locking on her. His voice carried fear he could not hide. Alaric's staff pulsed with dim light. No, he said gravely. The book shows only what it cannot conceal. If it reveals, it does so with purpose. His silver eyes glimmered with warning. The spellbook's pages opened without touch, runes glowing blood red. A vision emerged, Elara bound by chains of fire, her heart pierced with violet flame. She gasped, whispering, That's my end. Lyora muttered, Lovely bedtime story. Her voice strained as she tried to laugh, though her hands trembled. Elara fell to her knees, clutching her chest. It shows me broken, yet still reaching for love. Her tears glistened under the moonlight. The spellbook flared brighter, showing shifting images of Kale seated on a throne of bone and fire. Elara whispered, He rules if I fail. Her voice shook, as fear tangled with guilt. Dorian clenched his fists. Then you will not fail, he said, though doubt haunted his obsidian gaze. His body trembled with restrained rage. Alaric lifted his staff. Do you not see? The book isn't prophecy. It is temptation, he said, his voice sharp. It feeds on her choices. Eric stepped from the shadows, his gray eyes haunted. Or it reveals what none of us dare admit, he said bitterly. His tarnished armor glinted faintly. Elara's breath hitched. Eric, why are you here? She asked. Her words carried sorrow that twisted the silence. Eric's voice cracked. Because my truth is bound to yours. The spellbook once called to me. The air thickened with revelation. Elara's voice trembled. You knew of this. Her emerald eyes fixed on Eric, betrayal flashing like lightning. Eric bowed his head. I felt its call before you, he said. But it showed me only despair, so I gave it away to Kale. His words rang with guilt. Dorian roared. You handed her fate to him. His obsidian eyes blazed, his sword half drawn. Eric raised his hands in defense. I thought it was cursed beyond salvation, he said, his gray eyes glistening. I thought it would kill me if I held it. Elara sobbed. So you gave my destiny to a monster. The words shattered through the air, her heart breaking with every syllable. Alaric's staff slammed the stone floor. The truth cannot be undone, but the choice ahead is hers alone, he declared. Lyora whispered, "And here I thought family secrets were bad." Her voice trembled, eyes darting between them. The spellbook's pages tore open, runes glowing violently. A voice whispered from its depths, "One heart must break to seal the bond." Elara screamed, "No!" Her hands shook as she tried to close it. Dorian grabbed her wrists. "Do not listen," he said, obsidian eyes fierce yet pleading. His voice broke with desperation. Arik stepped forward, trembling. "It's true. It demanded my heart once, and I fled." His gray eyes filled with shame. Alaric's staff glowed brighter. "Sacrifice is the oldest lie of power," he said firmly. "Do not let it weave truth into your fear." Lyora muttered, "Books that talk should be burned," her smirk faint but shaking. She clutched her dagger nervously. Ilara's tears streamed as she cried, "It says love is the price, and I cannot choose." Her sobs echoed, torn between Dorian and destiny. The vision shifted. The spellbook revealed Kale standing over Ilara's body, Dorian's blood staining the stone. Ilara screamed, "Stop it!" Her emerald eyes blazed with pain. Dorian held her tightly. "Visions are not truth," he said, though his voice quivered, fear clawing at his heart. Arik's face twisted. "But they can become truth," he said. His voice carried despair and guilt. Alaric thundered, "The choice is now, Ilara. Will you let fear rule your heart, or love guide it?" His staff glowed fiercely, radiating blinding light. Lyora whispered, "Pick love, always pick love." Her eyes glistened with fragile hope. Ilara raised her hands, trembling, voice breaking. "Then let love be my shield, even if it shatters me." The words surged, the spellbook exploding with blinding light. The storm cracked open the sky, violet lightning striking the courtyard. Ilara screamed, "It wants blood!" Her emerald eyes glowed as the spellbook pulsed like a living heart. Dorian rushed forward, shouting, "Then let it take mine but not yours." His obsidian gaze burned with devotion as he shielded her from the arcs of energy. Alaric's staff blazed with golden fire. "Fools," he thundered. "Sacrifice feeds the curse, not ends it." His voice cracked with desperation. Arik staggered, clutching his chest. "It should have been me," he said, his gray eyes full of torment. "I gave it away, and now it comes for her." Lyora stumbled back, her dagger trembling in her hands. "This isn't a battle," she whispered. "It's a trap." Her voice broke under the weight of fear. Ilara fell to her knees. "Love is my shield," she cried, but the spellbook's glow burned hotter, chains of violet fire curling toward her. The spellbook's voice hissed, "One must fall." Ilara screamed, "I won't choose." Her tears streamed as violet fire lashed across the stones. Dorian drew his sword, obsidian eyes fierce. "Then I will fight fate itself," he growled, blade sparking with stormlight. Arik stepped forward, shaking. "It should be me," he said. His gray eyes glistened with despair. "Let me pay for the sin of betrayal." Ilara cried, "No!" Her emerald eyes burned with pain as she reached for him. "I lost you once. I cannot lose you again." Alaric's staff pulsed with radiant power. "No one needs to die," he shouted. "Love is strength when shared, not sacrificed." His words rang with defiance. Lyora raised her voice, trembling. "So stop arguing and hold together for once." Her cry broke the suffocating silence. The ground split as Kale appeared, stepping from a vortex of shadows. He sneered, "Your hearts are the sweetest weapon." His icy blue eyes gleamed with cruelty. Ilara gasped, "Kale!" Her voice shook, torn between fear and rage. She rose, emerald eyes blazing against him. Dorian snarled, "You'll not touch her." His sword gleamed as he stepped forward, obsidian gaze locked on Kale. Kale laughed coldly. Your blade cannot cut chains of desire, he said, silver armor catching lightning. Arik staggered forward, whispering, I gave him the book. His gray eyes dropped in shame. I made him stronger. Alaric's staff flared. Then you will help undo what you began, he commanded. His silver eyes glowed fiercely. Lyora muttered, and here I thought family dinners were bad. Her humor cracked under terror, her dagger shaking. Kale's voice thundered, her love will bind the world to me. He raised a gauntleted hand, shadows curling around Alara. She screamed, no! Her emerald aura flared against his pull. Dorian rushed forward, slashing at the shadows. You'll never take her, he roared, obsidian eyes fierce, blade striking sparks through the storm. Kale laughed. Your strength is hers, and hers is mine. His words echoed with cruel delight. Arik clutched his chest, gasping. Then take me instead. His gray eyes glistened with tears as he stepped toward Kale. Alaric's staff burst into radiant gold. Do not barter love with monsters, he cried. His voice was thunder itself. Lyora whispered, we need a miracle, her eyes wide with despair, knuckles white around her dagger. The storm climaxed, thunder splitting the sky. Alara cried, if love is the chain, then let it bind me, not them. Her emerald aura burst outward, shattering shadows. Dorian caught her arm. Don't do this. His obsidian eyes brimmed with terror, voice cracking as he pulled her close. Kale sneered. She has already chosen. His icy blue eyes burned with triumph as he stepped closer. Arik collapsed to his knees. Forgive me, he whispered. His gray eyes dimmed with guilt as he watched her sacrifice. Alaric raised his staff high. Then let light answer darkness. His voice was thunder, golden flames surging skyward. Lyora screamed, hold on, Elara. Her dagger dropped as tears streamed, her hope breaking. Elara whispered, love will not die, as the courtyard exploded with blinding green light. The storm climaxed as the courtyard shook, violet flames and green light clashing violently. Elara screamed, this ends tonight. Her emerald aura burned brighter, defying Kale's pull. Kale spread his arms wide, laughing. Love cannot defeat destiny, he sneered, icy blue eyes blazing. His silver armor shimmered under lightning. Dorian charged forward, his sword sparking with storm light. Then destiny will bleed, he roared, obsidian eyes locked on Kale. Kale raised his hand, shadows wrapping around Dorian. Your devotion makes you weak, he taunted. The chains of darkness constricted. Alara cried, no. She tore at the shadows with green fire from her chest, burning them away. Her tears mingled with fury. Alaric lifted his staff, golden radiance spreading. Stand together, he thundered. Only unity breaks the curse. His silver beard glowed with the light. Lyora shouted, then fight like a family. Her dagger flashed as she lunged at a shadow beast clawing from the ground. Kale's voice cracked like thunder. The spellbook was always mine. He raised it high, crimson runes spiraling outward. Alara gasped, no, it chose me. Her aura pulsed brighter. Dorian slashed at Kale, sparks flying. You'll never control her heart, he shouted, obsidian eyes burning with fury. Kale sneered, blocking the blade with shadows. Her heart is the lock, and I hold the key, he said, his icy blue eyes piercing her. Arik staggered forward, trembling. Then take me instead. His gray eyes brimmed with guilt. End my curse, not hers. Elara cried, you can't. She reached for him, emerald aura lashing out. Your sacrifice once saved me. Her voice cracked. Alaric's staff shone like the sun. No one falls tonight, he roared, golden fire encasing the group. Lyora shouted, then burn him out. Her dagger pierced another shadow beast. The spellbook burst open, winds ripping stone from the ground. Elara cried, it will destroy everything. Her emerald aura trembled as her body weakened. Dorian caught her arm, holding her steady. "Stay with me." His obsidian eyes blazed with fear and love. Kale laughed darkly. "Every choice feeds me," he said. Shadows spiraled around him, chains of fire reaching outward. Eric collapsed to his knees. "I can stop him," he whispered. His gray eyes gleamed with desperate hope. Elara sobbed. "You'll die." Her tears fell as she clutched his hand. "I can't lose you again." Eric smiled faintly. "Better I fall than you." His voice cracked but firm. Alaric roared. "Fate is not written." His staff burst with radiant fire, striking Kale's shield. Lyora cried, "Then hit him harder." Her dagger flashed again, her fear turned to rage. Kale roared, "Love is weakness." His shadows struck outward, smashing stone towers into dust. Elara shouted, "Love is strength." Her aura burst, shielding the group. Dorian stepped beside her, his sword glowing with her power. "Together, nothing breaks us," he said, obsidian eyes unwavering. Kale sneered. "Then break together," he spat, launching a spear of shadows. Eric lunged forward, intercepting it. His chest cracked with impact. "Not her," he gasped, gray eyes wide with pain. Elara screamed, "Eric!" She caught him as he fell, her tears mingling with blood. Alaric's staff blazed, golden fire slamming into Kale. "Enough!" he thundered, the courtyard glowing like the sun. Lyora cried out, "Hold him down!" Her dagger struck another shadow beast. Eric collapsed fully, whispering, "Forgive me." His gray eyes dimmed as shadows pulled at his body. Elara sobbed, "No, stay with me." Her aura flared uncontrollably. Dorian caught her shoulders. "Don't let grief break you," he said, obsidian eyes wet with tears. "Turn it into strength." Kale sneered. "Even now your love feeds me," he growled, icy blue eyes flashing as he raised the spellbook high. Elara stood, trembling. "No more chains," she shouted, emerald aura igniting brighter than ever. Her body glowed with fierce power. Alaric roared, "Now!" His staff burst with golden light, fusing with her aura. Dorian raised his sword, its edge glowing green and gold. "Together," he cried, charging forward with her. Lyora screamed, "Finish him!" Her dagger struck the last beast, her eyes shining with hope. The explosion of emerald and gold light silenced the storm, leaving only smoke and ash. Elara staggered, whispering, "It's over." Her emerald eyes shimmered with exhaustion and grief. Dorian caught her before she fell. "You're still here," he said, his obsidian eyes wet with relief. His arms tightened around her trembling frame. Kale lay broken amid the rubble, his silver armor cracked, icy blue eyes dimming. "Love cursed me," he rasped, before shadows swallowed him into nothingness. Eric's body lay still at their feet. Elara fell to her knees, sobbing. "I should have saved him," she cried, her tears falling onto his cold armor. Alaric placed a hand on her shoulder. "He chose his end," he said softly, Silverbeard glistening with sweat and sorrow. "Let his sacrifice mean something." Lyora wiped her eyes with a shaky laugh. "For once I'm glad to be alive," she whispered, her voice fragile. The spellbook lay cracked on the stone, its runes fading to ash. Elara whispered, "It's finished." Her trembling hands refused to touch it again. Dorian kicked it aside, his sword still drawn. "No more chains," he said, voice raw with fury and relief. Alaric's staff dimmed, golden fire fading. "The book is not gone," he warned, silver eyes heavy. "It sleeps, waiting for another heart." Elara shuddered. "Then we bury it so deep, no one will ever find it." Her emerald eyes burned with conviction. Lyora knelt, poking the book cautiously. "If it wakes up, I'm not babysitting it," she muttered, her humor breaking through her fear. Dorian gripped Elara's hand. "We'll bury it together," he said firmly, obsidian gaze locked on hers. Together, they carried Eric's body beyond the ruins. Elara whispered, He was lost, but he found his way back at the end. Her emerald eyes shimmered with grief and fragile hope. Dorian said quietly, "He chose to protect you, even when it cost everything." His obsidian eyes softened, his grip steady on her shoulder. Alaris' voice was solemn. "Even the fallen can find redemption," he said, staff resting against the earth. His silver beard caught the morning light. Lyora placed a flower atop Eric's chest. "Guess you weren't all bad," she murmured, her nervous humor dim but heartfelt. Elara's tears spilled freely. "I will remember him," she vowed. Her voice carried in the quiet morning air, heavy with promise. The ruins smoldered behind them as the group stood together. Elara said softly, "We are all changed." Her emerald eyes carried both sorrow and strength. Dorian brushed dust from her cheek. "You are stronger than the book, stronger than Kale," he said, obsidian eyes unwavering. His touch lingered with quiet devotion. Alaric's voice was calm but heavy. "The world will not remember the book, but it will remember your choice." His silver beard glistened under the sun. Lyora smirked faintly. "If anyone asks, we won," she said, her humor returning though her eyes still shimmered with tears. Elara leaned against Dorian, whispering, "Then let love be my shield forever." The words echoed as the morning light spread across the land. They turned away from the ruins, the spellbook buried beneath stone and silence. Elara whispered, "This is not the end. It is the beginning." Her emerald eyes lifted to the sky. Dorian wrapped his arm around her. "Wherever we go together," he said, obsidian gaze filled with quiet fire. Alaric leaned on his staff. "Every dawn carries both shadow and light," he said softly, silver beard glowing in sunlight. Lyora stretched, forcing a smile. "Well, if the world doesn't fall apart again, maybe we can all just eat breakfast," she muttered, her voice lighter. Elara pressed her forehead against Dorian's. "Love will not die," she whispered. The words lingered in the air like a vow, as the screen of dawn faded to brilliance.